So, association football, more commonly known as football or soccer, is a team sport played with a spherical ball between two teams or 11 players. It is played by 250 million players in over 200 countries and dependencies around the world, making it the world's most popular sport. This game is played on a rectangular field called a pitch with a ball at each end. The object of the game is to score by moving the ball beyond the goal line into the opposing goal. Soccer is the most popular sport on the earth. In fact, the World Cup of Soccer is the most watched sporting event in history. To understand better what makes soccer the most popular sport in the world, it is very important to know who created it, where was it created, and when they created it. So first, let's explore who created soccer. According to FIFA, the Chinese competitive game of Cuju is the first ever recording of soccer. Cuju players could use any part of the body apart from the hands, and the intent was kicking the ball through an opening into a net. It was remarkably similar to modern football, though similarities to rugby were recorded. In ancient Greece, they played a game called episkaros, in which two equal number teams would try to throw the ball over their heads on the other team. There was a white line between the teams and another white line behind each team. The teams would change the ball often until one of the other teams was forced behind the line at their end. In Mexico and Central America, the rubber ball was first created and used in a game in a recessed court of 40 to 50 feet long, shaped like an eye. In the middle of each wall, there was a mounted stone with a wooden ring, and the object was to throw the ball as hard as you can through the ring. Now, let's explore when was the first ever soccer match played, according to historians. And this was played in Scotland. So the first football game played in Britain between the locals of East England, starting after a legendary game that involved kicking around the severed head of a Danish prince that they had defeated in a war. These games were violent, where injury and death were very common. But, however, the first official international football match was played between the national teams of Scotland and England, played in Glasgow, Scotland. The game was played on November 30th, 1872, and it finished with a 0-0 draw. Lastly, we will discuss where was soccer first developed in depth. England transitioned the game into what we know today as soccer. It all began in 1863 in England, when rugby, football, and the Association of Football branched off under different courses, and the Football Association in England was formed, becoming the sport's first governing body ever. The decodification of soccer began in public schools of Britain at the beginning of the 19th century. With the private school system, football was a game in which the hands were used during the periods of play and grappling allowed, but otherwise the modern shape of soccer was being formed. In conclusion, I believe that soccer is the most popular sport in the world due to its past in 4 continents of the world, which means such traditions have been passed from generations to generations since the early civilizations of the world. This explains why the spread of soccer was so easy in comparison to other sports, where it seems to be popular in only certain regions. For example, baseball's 2 biggest professional leagues are in the United States of America and Japan, where the best soccer leagues in the world are located in Europe, Mexico, Brazil, Argentina, the Middle East, and China. The past not only affects our civilization racially, politically, or culinarily, but the past also affects our passions for our hobbies and pastimes like soccer. Thank you.